Can people hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Hey, good to see you again.
Good to see you
I don't have
guys.
red hair normally. I don't know why it's looking so red, but I'm loving it. I'm so happy to have you guys. I'm Rosemary Condor. I'm the director of the program. I met several of you during your interviews and your orientation. But I just want you to know how incredibly thrilled we are to have you with us today. This is our very first virtual training, so we are you're our guinea pigs, but we're also so grateful to have you with us. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. We really want it to be interactive. The staff has worked really hard to make this a great event. So I do want to let you know, I love to give this speech without tears, but CASA volunteers are just the best people in the entire world. What we have found that our advocates really do make a difference in the lives of the children that they serve, and we think they get as much out of it as they give. But again, just the gift of your time and your energy and your expertise from your different backgrounds, so very important to the children in our community. And we're really trying to break the cycle of abuse and neglect, and the way that we know you can do that is with having one caring adult in the lives of these kids. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for what you do. If at the end of this you choose that being a CASA volunteer is good for you, then we are so excited for that. But at the end of this, if you say, you know, I love CASA, but I don't really have time, or whatever your reasons are, we know that we've created a great advocate for kids in our community, and you will move the needle for them as well. So to kick us off, I have a quick little gift. I have a beautiful, that you can't tell because it's got a red in it, but it is a peacock umbrella. It's so pretty, and today is the perfect day for it. And I'm going to give it to the very first person I saw pop up, which was Sandy. So wherever you are, Sandy, we'll have your name on it. We'll have it ready for you. And every week we're going to have a special prize for some lucky viewer. So thank you guys again. I really appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over to Ashley and Alondra. Feel free to reach out to us. We're here for you. We're happy to have you with us. So thank you all, and let's go.
Thank you.
Welcome everyone. My name is Alondra Johnson. I am a CASA supervisor and co-facilitator with my coworker Ashley. Like Rosemary mentioned, it is our first time doing virtual training. I hope it's easy and fun and engaging for you guys. I can't wait to get started. Ashley's gonna come in and introduce herself.
Hi guys, somehow Rosemary and I have this phenomenon of the red hair. Alondra did not get that. I don't know what's going on. I love the red hair. Hopefully, maybe I can just do this permanently since it's all virtual and I won't have to color my hair anymore. But just enjoy it, I guess, while it lasts. We are going to start tonight with going through some of our Zoom etiquette techniques and just the things that we want you guys to know about utilizing Zoom. I will be able to see some of you guys on my screen, but not all of you. So bear with me if you have questions, and just jump to that chat box, which we'll go to later. I hope you guys, I know we talked a lot about in our orientations about whether you're familiar with Zoom, so bear with us if you already know a lot about Zoom. I included this picture because several people have shared that when they are in larger Zoom meetings like the ones we're in, this is what it feels like. Like we're in one of these Muppet scenarios, or Alondra says she thinks it looks like Star Wars when they're in the senators area and everybody's all stacked up. We hope you don't feel that way tonight. If you do, we'll show you how to change the view on your screen so that you can feel more comfortable with it. First and foremost, what we want you to know is how to mute and unmute your microphone, and then how to turn your camera on and off. We will ask that you mute your microphone throughout most of the training so we don't get feedback from everybody. We're not hearing things that are going on in everybody's houses. I know when I'm doing the trainings or webinars or even trying to work from home, I usually have kids jumping in and out, which is totally fine, but we do ask you to mute so that it's not too distracting. I'm sharing my screen with you right now, so you should be able to see the PowerPoint that says CASA Trainee, and it should have an arrow. It will show you the mute button. If you click on that, it will mute you. If it has a little red bar through it, it means you're muted. If you click it again, it will unmute you. You're more than welcome to jump in and talk at any time if you need to. We will ask you and show you how to raise your hand too. If you look at the little video camera next to that, which I love that they use an old video camera, like the little icon, because you don't see a lot of those anymore. Everybody uses their iPhone. But you do the same way that you do the microphone. So you just click on it, little red dash will jump in there if your camera's turned off. If you need to get up for any reason, you need to take care of something at home, you need to stretch, you don't want everybody to see it, just pop that on, it'll turn your camera off and you can do whatever you need to do. The next thing I want you to know is that if you decide that you want to talk and you're muted, your computer will let you know that you're muted. So you're not just talking indefinitely where no one can hear you. So if you'll see the little bar across, it says unmute your speaker or increase volume to hear other participants. So it's just letting you know that you're muted and you're talking. It's picked up that you're talking, but no one else can hear you. The next thing, we don't want anyone to leave for any reason, but if you decide you're ready to leave, before we're ready to leave and end the training, you will see that you can click in the right bottom corner. There's a red button that says leave. That will prompt you to just go on out and go on with the rest of your night, but we'll miss you and we will call you to see what happened and make sure you're okay. The next thing we want you to know, and these are really lovely and flattering pictures of all of us. We want you to know that we are all new to Zoom training as well, and we are not perfect, and so we might capture some crazy pictures of each other or of anybody else. But while we're sharing pictures, we'll let you know that in the top corner of your screen, you can click on where it says it. Usually we'll say either speaker view or gallery view. You can click that to change the number of people that are on your screen and make it a little bit easier for you to deal with all that's going on. Here's a great picture of Susan too, and this is the opposite. So if you click gallery view or speaker view, it's gonna kind of swivel back and forth between these two options. And then here is what you should be seeing right now. It is a screen share option. And if you slide those three bars to the left or right, it will make the PowerPoint bigger and the picture smaller or vice versa, depending on how you move it. You just click it and move it to do that. And again, you can change the speaker view on the side to show a different number of people in that bar on the side of your PowerPoint. I say PowerPoint because that's what I'm used to. This is actually Google Slides. But, and then a really important feature that we want to show you is that if you minimize, if you hit the minimize bar at the top of your screen, it will actually make the entire Zoom call really small up in the right corner. You click on that, you can move it around to get it out of your way. But tonight we are going to go through Optima and Canvas. And if you want to log in and try to navigate those while we're talking about it, you can stay on the Zoom call and just kind of move us to the top corner, move us out of the way. You can still hear us and see us, but you can navigate through everything else on your computer as well. And the next thing is the chat box. We do want you guys to utilize the chat box. We've already sort of jumped it in there for you guys tonight. Rosemary's chatted in it. I'm not sure if anyone else has jumped in yet or not. But we encourage you to use the chat box to keep the traffic down on the main part of the Zoom meeting. We do want to hear from you guys though. Interaction is critical to our training. We want to know what you have to say. We want to get information from you guys. We know that you have just a wealth of information and tremendous amount of experience among those of you that are going to be here tonight, and we want you to share that, but we will ask you to share that in the chat box. Thanks, guys. See, people are jumping in and asking questions. That's exactly what we want to see. So here you will see that if you click on the chat option, well, here actually, this is if someone sends a message to everyone, it will just pop up on your screen. If you want to chat, you click on the chat icon, and then it will give you the option. Tonight, we are only sharing the option to chat with the entire group. As we get more into the training and give options, you can select different participants and chat privately with them. But for now, we're just going to chat all together. If you do have any questions, I will say we shared, Alondra and I both shared our cell phone numbers and emails in the email that we sent you guys, and it's also going to be in Canvas. So if you need something from us, please feel free to text. We're sort of loosely monitoring our phones. Otherwise, jump in the chat box and we'll try to get to everybody. Yes, feel free to check it out there. Also, if you have a question, we do ask that you raise your hand, and we mean in the Zoom form of raising your hand, not literally raising your hand. Right now, I can only see 3 of you on my screen, so I might miss you if you just literally raise your hand. But we do want you to interact, and we ask you to raise your hand in the Zoom sense so that if there's a little bit of lag in people's internet speeds or anything like that, that we're not talking over each other. And you can raise your hand by clicking on participants. And then when you click on participants, this screen will pop up and you can click on the raise your hand. It will let us know that you have raised your hand, and we will be able to get each other's attention and chat with everybody. And also, if I say something incredible and you just want to really clap for me, you can choose the reactions. Or if we ask a question and you want to give us a thumbs up and just let us know that you heard it, then you can do that by clicking on the reaction at the bottom bar of your screen and clapping, giving a thumbs up. I guess they're just a positive group at Zoom because they don't give negative options, but I'm thankful for that tonight. And the next feature that we will be utilizing throughout our training, not tonight, fortunately, where I'm trying to throw all of this at you as much as possible, and we'll kind of go back through some of these things as we get into the training. The next thing is polls. So we will be doing a poll next week, actually, and doing an activity where we discuss information. And when that happens, it will just magically pop up on your screen. When I'm ready, we will launch the poll. You will be prompted with a question. You just click on it and then click submit, and it will populate into the poll. And then when we're done, I will share the poll results with you. And I have been in several trainings where they were asking us questions and we did the polls and they asked us questions about the polls, and I accidentally clicked off the poll and I panicked because I couldn't find it anymore. I couldn't answer the questions. So just know that if for some reason we share the results and then you click off of it and it disappears from your screen, just click on the polls icon at the bottom and it will come back up. And that is our brief throw of all the Zoom information we thought you would need to get kicked off tonight. If you have any questions, if you're still struggling with Zoom, if any of it's not making sense to you or it's not working on your computer, please let us know. Now I'm going to invite Alondra up here with me as I slide out of here to let you guys get started on a fun activity.
Thank you, Ashley. Wow, that was a lot of information. So if you guys have any questions, just please go ahead and ask them. We don't expect you guys to remember all of this in one night. Okay, so in your CASA bag that you received during orientation, we have folders in there. If you could pull out your week 1 folder, and in there, you will find your fun-sized M&Ms. So we'll pull that out. Okay, so if everybody will open that and pick one M&M, doesn't matter what color, just pick one M&M and go ahead and hold it up. And I will join you while we're doing that. Okay, can everybody hold their M&M? I don't know if you can see what color this is, but mine is red. Okay, so if we will be calling on you now that everybody has shared their M&M with everyone and we can keep you accountable, we will be calling on you guys to share something about yourself. Each one of these colors represents what we want to know about you. So red represents favorite hobbies, green represents favorite foods, orange is favorite movies, brown is most embarrassing or memorable moment, and yellow is favorite place to visit. And then if you have a blue, it's a wild card. So essentially you can choose any one of those colors that you want to share about. So I will go first. I chose a red, which is a favorite hobby. And my favorite hobby is to spend time with my kids. I love to take them out and go do things with them, whether that be go to the movies, go to the park, go visit friends, have play dates. I just love all that. Okay, Ashley, if you will move the chat from the screen so I am able to call on people. Just 1 minute. After you go and you share a little bit about yourself, you're more than welcome to eat your M&Ms. All right, I'm gonna go down the screen that I see. So first person on my screen that I see is Romaine. Romaine, would you like to share what color you picked? And make sure to unmute so we can hear you. I cannot hear you. Not yet. Okay. Romaine, don't worry about that. I'm going to give you some time to figure out your audio on there. I'm going to go ahead and go to Amy. Amy, what color did you choose?
Well, I don't have any M&Ms in my pack.
No M&Ms?
So how about I do a red?
How about you do a red? That sounds great.
I love to bake.
Hobbies.
I love to bake and paint.
Oh, that's
Wall, change colors in my house, or paint canvas, either one.
sounds great. Sounds like fun for sure. All right, next person is Sandy. Make sure you two unmute when it's your turn and then mute again after you've shared with us.
I have blue,
Wild card.
red.
Red, okay, so favorite hobby.
I like to spend a lot of time with my family and grandkids.
Yes.
We do a lot of fun things, like we went swimming, and I got grandkids coming this weekend also to visit.
So you're a family gal like me.
Yes.
Love it. Okay. Ashley, if you don't mind to scroll down on the participants and then minimize the, thank you. Okay, next on my screen is Clara. Clara, if you will just unmute yourself and tell us what color M&M you chose. Okay, we are gonna come back. Let's go to Peter.
My favorite place to visit is Chicago because that's where I'm originally from and that's where my daughter is.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I've never been to Chicago, but
It's not as bad as everyone says.
I'm sorry?
It's not as bad as everyone says.
Yeah, yeah. All right, next on my screen is Pooja.
I got the blue M&M, and I think I'm gonna do red too. My favorite hobby is to go hiking, and I'm actually here in Gatlinburg to do that.
Oh, wow, how exciting.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for joining us.
of course.
All right, the next person is Nathan.
I got red. My favorite thing to do is, can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay. I like anything outdoors. Motorcycle riding is one of my favorite, but also like hiking and anything, camping, anything outdoors.
good, it's great. Spending time outside is always great.
Yep.
All right, I have Barbara. Barbara, would you unmute yourself and share your colored M&M? There we go.
I got red, and my favorite thing to do is to bake specialty cakes,
Okay,
spend time with my grandchildren.
awesome. And next is Sarah.
I got blue, so I was going to talk about my favorite place to visit. I love going to the beach, and a big part of that is because I love to eat and I love to eat seafood. So I love being close to like fresh crab and shrimp and lobster and all that because that's just my favorite time. But my husband and I, we went to Hawaii on our honeymoon 2 years ago, and that is my all-time favorite place to visit.
That sounds very exciting. I would love to go to Hawaii someday.
It's great.
All right, next is Allie.
Hi guys. I did not have M&Ms, but I have some markers and drew the red one. I feel like right now, at this stage in life, most of my hobbies involve my kiddos. And most recently, we decided that we're going to homeschool this year. So I've kind of thrown myself into that. And pretty much it seems like all my free time that would otherwise be spent doing other things has been spent collecting materials and things to do for school with my kiddos.
Yes, I feel the same way. I'm right there with you, Allie. Okay, next one on my screen is Alejandra.
Hi. Mine was green.
Green is favorite foods.
My favorite food, of course, it's Mexican food, but it's also, I love sushi. I've grown to love sushi, so that's pretty much it. Or spaghetti.
Well, thank you. All right, next on my screen is Heather.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if my camera's still looking at my curtains or not, or if it's me. I drew a blue M&M, so I'm going to go with my favorite.
Actually, Heather, will you hold your mic closer to your mouth? Maybe that will help us a little bit. You sound kind of far away.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's about the same.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Better? Okay. I drew a blue M&M, and my favorite hobby is pretty much anything to do with my kids. I also love distressing furniture, finding old furniture and painting it and making it look worn like it's been around for 100 years. If you ask my husband, though, he'll tell you that I start those projects and he finishes them. So
I love it. I love it. All right. Thank you for sharing. All righty. Next on my screen is Shy.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I drew a blue M&M, so it was a wild card. So I guess I can say I really do love to travel. And a fun fact about me is like I've traveled to 10 different countries. So yeah.
I didn't know that about you, Shy. I know you traveled, but I didn't know it was 10.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay. Ashley, will you scroll down on the participants, please? Thank you. All right, next is Andrea.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I drew a brown one. I forgot what it was already.
Brown is most memorable or embarrassing moment.
Most memorable moment, most embarrassing moment. I feel like I have a lot of embarrassing moments, but recently, I guess, I'm a nurse, so I was in a patient's room and I was talking to them and kind of forgot that rule, how you aren't supposed to, you just don't assume things. So I was talking to somebody's family and asked them if they were the patients. I had said something, referenced them as a daughter, and they weren't a daughter, they were a wife. So, yeah, that stuff like that happens a lot. So I was like, oh,
yeah,
to do stuff like that.
So. That's funny. That's too funny. All right, Romaine, do we want to try again? Make sure you unmute. I can hear something. Try again. No, I still no. We are actually not doing anything confidential today. Maybe if you unplug your headphones, that might help.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with the speaker. Every time I say, "Can you hear me?" Siri pops up.
Well,
just
my
throws
boss
everything off. I had an orange M&M. I had an orange M&M, and I dropped it somewhere along the way. Which I think was favorite movie.
That's correct.
I don't really have a favorite movie, but my daughter and I are really into the Marvel movies at the moment. So I guess I would have to say that that's my favorite movie.
Yes, I agree. I like Marvel movies a lot. All right, Susan.
Are you asking me, Alondra?
Yes, yes. Would you share what color M&M you had?
I didn't have a pocket, so okay. I don't have a
What color would you like to choose?
I'll choose blue so I can choose anything. But I don't even remember what they all were, but I will say favorite movie. I have always loved Good Will Hunting. I don't know what it is about that movie. I feel like there's just a lot of things in that movie that come out when you really watch it. Mm-hmm. So I'll say Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet, so I'll have to put it on my to-do. Yeah. All right. Terry, what about you? What color did you choose?
I had brown. So my most embarrassing moment, I was a teacher for 33 years, so I have lots of days of having things unzipped and unbuttoned, and I've had makeup that I forgot to rub in, and it was just a big blob on my face. And I guess the worst was I was sitting on a stool one day and it broke, and my legs went up in the air. I had a dress on.
Oh
no! I just landed on the floor, and I'm sure if anybody had had a camera in those days, it would have been hilarious.
Well, thank you for sharing that. All right, on my screen, Ashley, if you'll just double check me just to make sure I chose it. Okay, I'm sorry. Clara, can we try you again? And it might help if you do the same and just unplug your headphones. No. Are your headphones unplugged?
You're not hearing me.
Oh, I think I might have heard something. No. Yes. Okay. I think we have a couple more people to go through. Robin, will you share what color you chose?
So I had the color for the favorite movie, and thinking back, I like the old movies, like Stand By Me, The Goonies, and then finally I Am Sam is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I like those. All right. I believe that is everyone. Clara, since we are having difficulties with your audio, please just type it on the chat box. Let us know what color you chose and what your favorite movie or hobby it is, okay? I'm sure we can work on getting that situated. All right, next on our agenda is the ground rules.
Wait, I want to take my turn first.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She didn't let me have a turn. So I wanted to choose. I didn't get to choose an M&M either, but I want to do hobbies because all of you guys chose hobbies, and I also have kids, and I have a lot of kids, and I love my kids, and I love spending time with them. But I think some of you guys were lying about it because not everybody's favorite thing can always be spending time with their kids. So I love, love, love my kids. I want to say that. I spend like, it seems like 25 hours a day with them. So they're my very favorite thing. But my hobby that I like to do when I'm not with my kids is reading fantastic books and sitting beside the pool or sitting somewhere where I cannot hear my kids because they talk a lot. So I wanted to share that so we could try to like let this be a relaxed situation and make sure that you guys know that we want you to be polite and kind, but you don't have to be on your absolute best behavior the whole time. You can say things that are true and real, like Terry when she fell and her dress went up. So thank you for sharing a real story, and we want you guys to know that this is like Vegas. You can't share anything. We may not be sharing case confidential information, but everything that we talk about at CASA training is confidential. So we're not going to share your most embarrassing moments. If we see your kids out in public, we're not going to tell them that your favorite hobby is not hanging out with them. It's actually hanging out with your friends. So we want you guys to have a good time and relax. And I'm going to invite Alondra to come back now that I stole the screen from it.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. Okay, our next thing on our agenda is the ground rules. So as we were going through the Zoom etiquette, we mentioned that we would like for our advocates in training to raise their hand whenever they have a question or have a comment to ask. When we go through the ground rules, we want to make it so everyone participates in it. We want to make sure that this environment, everyone agrees to the rules. So we want to invite you to help us create those. So as I went first, I said that we should raise our hand whenever we want to talk. That way we're not disturbing other people and give enough time for everyone to share. Does anybody have anything else to add to the ground rules? And don't be shy. It's okay. You guys can raise your hand or you can unmute or.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What about just no disrespectful talk?
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Heather. Anybody else? If nobody likes to share, I'm going to start calling. And this can be, what is important to you? What would you like for the environment to be? So maybe another one may be turning off cell phones. That way this 2 hours during Zoom is not interrupted and you're able to engage to the fullest. Does everybody agree to that? Yes.
Yes.
All right. Anybody else have anything to add? Sarah, what do you think? Should we add anything?
I guess I would just say to contribute and participate as much as possible so that if I have a question, I'm sure somebody else has a question, or if I feel a certain way about something, somebody else may too. So to just go ahead and articulate that way we get that out of the way and we can all understand.
Absolutely. 100% agree with you. Thank you. All right. What about Pooja? Do you have anything to add?
Maybe just being prepared to the best of your ability before the meetings, just so you have like an idea of what you're going into.
I love that. I love that also because we have minimized this training to be 2 hours. So if you can be as prepared as possible for our next training, it will make our time that we have together very valuable and able to use it as best as we can. Okay. How about maybe coming up with a couple more? What about Nathan? Nathan, do you have anything that you would like to add to our ground rules? Anything you would expect?
No, I think everybody's kind of covering it so far. I can't really think of anything up right offhand.
Okay.
because it's hard on me not to talk sometimes, so I have to jump in and say something else. One thing that's going to be really important for us is to start and end on time. So we would ask that you guys be here about 5-10 minutes before, so we can make sure we work out any technical difficulties, and we'll be sure to start right at 6 o'clock, and we'll be sure to end at the very latest at 8 o'clock. We are so thankful for your time commitment, and we want to be really respectful of that. So that I'm going to put on here that we'll be respectful of time and start and end on time.
Thank you, Ashley. All right. And we will go through these ground rules every time we have a Zoom call. That way we can all be aware of them and keep them always in the back of our head. All right, and moving forward, we are going to jump into our first activity, which is introductions and expectations. And Ashley will will go through how to do that. So part of Zoom, we will be doing breakout rooms. And that is where you are able to join your own little breakout room within Zoom. So you will be grouped with other advocates or other volunteers in training, along with one of our staff members, and which they will help you facilitate that activity. And Ashley's sharing the screen. Ashley's trying. I'm so sorry. Ashley is trying to share the screen. Like I said, when we were doing orientation, this is our first time doing an interview. So we will have those small technical difficulties. So just please bear with us. Here we go. All right. So as you can see, this is what's going to pop up on your screen. It will say that it wants you to join a breakout room. So when that pops up in your screen, just please click the join, which will be in blue. And then once you click that, it will automatically put you into that breakout room with a selected few individuals. Okay, this is what it looks like when it's loading and getting you ready to join that breakout room. And when you are in that breakout room, you can leave the room in two ways. You can leave manually, which you can see at the bottom, it says leave breakout room, or you can wait for a minute and it will automatically bring you back to the main training room. If you decide to wait, you don't have to do anything to your computer. So you can just give it that 1 minute and it will bring you back. Okay, so in your breakout room, you will have one staff member in there that will, like I said, help you they will facilitate through that activity. So they'll help you, guide you through what it is that we want you to interact with everyone. Please just, keep in mind, be respectful, be engaging. We want to know what your thoughts are. We want to make sure that everybody gets to know each other. Unfortunately, we can't be together, but we want to make it as interacting as possible. Okay, I think Ashley is working on the breakout room. So we're going to give her a few minutes to finish setting that up. As you guys are waiting, if you have any questions, I've seen that everyone is using the chat box, so that's amazing. All right. Okay, everybody see on their screen where they're being asked to join a breakout room. So just please click on join, and I'll see you in a little bit. I'll put yes.
You guys are really on top of things and jumped right back in the meeting. I love it. I'm not sure, is everyone back yet? We're still waiting on a couple. Everybody's internet speeds are a little bit different. I don't know how that works. I usually tell my kid, we used to have satellite TV, and I would tell my kids, like, the TV doesn't work because it's raining. We don't have that anymore. But every time it rains, they're like, is the TV gonna work? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Nobody's internet's working because it's raining.
I see us coming all back in.
All right. It looks like most, if not all of us, are back. I'm going to ask Alondra to share the PowerPoint. Again, I keep saying PowerPoint. It's Google Slides. We try to like move into the 21st century with Google Slides, but I just can't get the hang of saying it. Go back about 3 slides. One more. One more. All right, there we are. So this is what we missed when we were sharing with you guys to go out into the breakout rooms. And again, thank you for bearing with us as we try this out for the first time and are for the first time trying to send people into breakout rooms and give you details on activities that we don't actually get to be a part of. So thank you for not throwing eggs at me in the not so literal sense when I jumped into your group, but I appreciate you letting me come in and give you guys more instructions when we were not so sure that everybody understood. So can I have at least one person from each group share what one of your expectations was? Let's start with somebody from Robin's group.
So Ashley, we did activity 1A, introductions and expectations.
Yes. What were some of your expectations? And it doesn't have to be Robin. You guys can throw Robin under the bus because she's a staff member and she will take it like a champ. But if somebody else wanted to share some things, that'd be great too.
So we took turns answering, like Nathan answered some of the reasons why he wanted to become a CASA, Pooja did as well. And do you guys want to share that with the group?
Yeah, I can go. As far as that part goes, I just explained that I was a police officer. I retired as a police officer after 20 years, and some months have gone by since I've been retired, and I miss the being able to help people, and especially with the kids and work with the kids, and especially the kids that are may not have a role model in their lives and that kind of thing. And so I was hoping to get. I decided to volunteer to. Just be able to help them in ways that, that I think is just super important these days. And like I was saying, I worked in the court system quite a bit, and so I'm familiar with the court system. And so to be able to do this is just a great opportunity for me to work in a different capacity in the courts than I was used to, and be able to help the kids in the meantime. So.
Thanks, Nathan, for sharing, not just for sharing with us why you decided to become a CASA, but also for sharing your expertise with us as we go into this. We will certainly have questions I'm sure that you can provide some insight on. We
Sure.
appreciate you joining in and sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
All right, Susan, can either Susan or somebody from Susan's group share either an expectation introduction or just something really exciting that you guys got the opportunity to discuss in your breakout room?
Let me just jump in and ask Sarah if she would mind sharing her reason for wanting, because I thought that was she had a really good reason for wanting to be a part of CASA. Are you on here, Sarah? I can't see you.
Yeah, I'm on here. I was telling them that I had been watching the news like in early February, and Channel 14, and they were talking about how there had been 13 babies born in Vanderburgh County that had been born addicted to drugs. And they talked about, no, if you want to help, you can get them in touch with your local CASA. And I have my little boy, he just turned 1 last week. And whenever I heard that about those babies, it just about broke my heart. And I thought, if there's something that I can do to help, then I should. So that's why I wanted to get involved.
Thank you, Sarah. That is an amazing reason. And I also want to share just a little bit of behind the scenes information. I don't know Sarah very well prior to the CASA experience, but Sarah's mom was one of my teachers in high school, and she was one of the best teachers I ever had. I still have books that she gave me. Wonderful. So with that, I'm going to share just a little bit about one of the next topics that we are going to talk about, and that is evidence of effectiveness. Don't feel like Terry, your group is off the hook, because I will come back for you guys. But that was just a great segue for me when I thought about Miss Bradley and how wonderful she was and what a difference she made in my life, because that is exactly what CASAs do for the kids that they are involved with. So again, just the next thing we're going to talk about, it is, if you flip in your binder from page 5 over to page 6 and page 7, we're going to talk a little bit about the evidence of effectiveness and the difference that CASAs can make in the life of the children that they serve. So actually, yeah, I can share that, Alondra, good job. I can share a little bit about the mission of CASA, although I had told her she was going to be the one that had to talk about the mission of CASA. Unsurprisingly, I stole that slide from her. I'm going to give her like 10 more though, so she's going to have to do more. I'm not going to read that out loud to you guys. I will let you read that. I will also let you know that it is in the very first tab that's in your binder. You will find not only our mission, but also our mission and our value statement. And we want you guys to know that we have a very specific mission. We want you guys to become aware of that, to stay really in tune with that, because it's easy as a CASA to want to help everyone in the case. But our mission and our goal, our job in this process is to get to know kids and to advocate for kids. That is what we are here to do. And we do that because of these evidence of effectiveness facts that you can find again on page 6 and 7. I'm not going to read all of those to you either. You're more than welcome to go through those. But what we know is that when a child has a CASA in their life, they have an exceptionally better shot at success. We know kids that experience trauma and who are involved in the family court system have some negative outcomes in store for them if they don't have a person in their life who will step up, be consistent, and make a difference for them. So when a child has a CASA, they will spend less time in the court system. They are more likely to find a permanent placement. They are less likely to come back to the court system after their involvement has ended. They are more likely to be successful in school. They have a wide range of positive outcomes that go from those things that you expect, like them to have a better experience in court, all the way over to school experiences, better long-term health, fewer mental health issues as they age. All of those things happen because they had a consistent and caring adult in their life who was willing to get to know them and stand up for them, give them a voice, and be that difference for them. So again, I jumped around. I'm coming back after that for Terry and Shai's group. So who from your group wants to share?
Hey guys, and I can let Terry intervene as well. Terry did such a great job with like hosting conversation within our group. Natural born teacher and leader for sure. One thing I noticed though, everyone's mentioned a few things that was either very exciting or one reason or multiple reasons why they wanted to be a CASA volunteer. But I noticed that the one concern you have about volunteering hasn't been answered. And I remember Allie actually sharing a pretty like understandable response. If you would like to share, Allie, and if not, that's okay too. I can inform them like some of the things that you informed us.
Sure. About kind of just about my passion and why I was interested in becoming a CASA volunteer. I nannied for some foster kiddos in 2012, and that kind of sparked my passion for kids in the system. And I think this is a great way to be involved during this stage of my life where I have a lot of responsibility at home, but I can also pour into kids, hopefully positively, that are in need of a trustworthy and consistent adult in their life.
Thank you, Allie, for sharing, and thank you, Shai, for letting us know that she had such a wonderful answer. And I feel like the stars have aligned tonight to just give me these excellent segues so that I can talk about the things that I need to talk about. So the next thing actually that I had on my list of things that I needed to cover is talking about the duties of a CASA and some of the things that a CASA does. So thank you, Allie, for sharing that. Although you have had many different experiences in working with kids and working around kids, that this seemed like the right time for this opportunity because of the role that we play. So
yeah, thank you, Allie. Sorry.
Thanks, Shai.
I guess also a concern too that she mentioned was she was asking about visitation with the children and how due to COVID-19 it was postponed for a bit, unfortunately. However, from what I've been informed by our team here and there, it's pretty much like a day-by-day basis before we are able to visit with them, correct?
Well, it's yes and no. And that is such an excellent question, Allie. And for anyone else who asked it during orientation, some of you guys got to have that question answered while you were in orientation. Because of COVID-19 and the restrictions placed on not only our communities, but on our agency by our state agency, we are not able at this time to do in-person, face-to-face visits with our CASA kids. That does not mean that we are out of the lives of our CASA kids. We still interact with them virtually. We still have to have face-to-face visits. One of the obligations and duties of a CASA is to have at least 2 face-to-face visits with their CASA child per month, and at least one of those to be in the home of the CASA child. That is one of the first questions we usually get when someone inquires about being a CASA is, do we visit them in the home? And the answer is yes. Your supervisor will go with you on that first visit to make sure that you feel really comfortable in the home and that you're confident with the information that you have about CASA, that the family understands what CASAs do, and that you're sure of going into the home the next time that you go, that you feel safe, that you feel comfortable. And if you don't, then we can work on making exceptions and making changes then. Now, right now, of course, with COVID, those things look a little bit different. But we don't want you to think for a second that we have stopped doing what CASA does in any way. In fact, most of our advocates have more regular contact because of, I think, like some of you mentioned, they have more time than they did before. So they're having very regular contact with their CASA kids. It's just virtual. If they're older kids, we know that most of them have cell phones, or they have the ability to do Zoom or Google Duo, many of these different virtual platforms on their own. And we encourage our CASAs to take precautions to protect themselves with all of the virtual hangups that we have, but to have face-to-face visits with their child very regularly, at least again, 2 a month. We find that most of our advocates are doing those about once a week right now, just to stay in contact. Now with our younger kids, we're able to do sometimes short videos. I have one really wonderful CASA whose CASA child is an infant. He's only about 8 months old. And so she still does visits with him virtually. His foster mom will set him up, have toys around him. His CASA will talk with him and interact with him for a few minutes before she gets information about him from his foster parents. But she is still being able to visually see him, make sure that he still appears healthy, that he is still meeting his milestones, and that she is fulfilling the duty that she has as a CASA to report about all of those things to the court. So we are able to do that. It does look very different. Many of our CASAs who have closed a case, many of our current active CASAs, I guess I should say, who have closed a case and are looking at being assigned another case, probably have the same worries that you have right now. How am I going to get to know a child that I've never met when I cannot see them? And that's something that we have had to try some unique perspectives and really trying to think outside the box to be able to do. But we're working through it. Another one of our fantastic CASAs was assigned a case the day that we stopped doing visits. So he knew we would be not doing visits anymore, but he was willing to accept the case anyway. We had our first visit, he and I had our first visit with the child in the foster home through FaceTime. It was not ideal. It's not the same as sitting on their porch and hanging out and bringing them a little gift bag that we normally do when we see them for the first time, but we were able to see him. And then from there, that advocate was able to continue to do that. This child is 6. The phone calls are very short, but he's able to talk with him and get to know him to the point that he knows that he loves riding his bike. And last week he was able to send him from Amazon a little horn for his bike so he could annoy the absolute fire out of his very young foster parent. So we are thrilled he was able to do that. So Allie, I hope that answers your question a little bit. We are not currently doing face-to-face visits in the sense that we're actually going to people's homes at this time to protect not only our CASA kids, but also very importantly, our CASA volunteers during this time of COVID. But we are still able to complete our duties, to fulfill everything that a CASA has agreed to do, and still are able to see our kids virtually and make reports to the court. I didn't mention that we are also still doing court. The courthouse has been opened and then closed, and we have had maybe just a couple of in-person court hearings in this time since March. Right now, everything is virtual. We are completing all court hearings through Skype, but our CASAs are able to get on these Skype hearings and advocate for the kids that they serve. So we are still able to do all the things that we would normally do, with, I would say, the exception of getting in touch with the school, which we usually do, but it's summer, that happens every summer. So we're still able to do it just in a new, different, and I won't say worse or better. In some ways it's more thorough, and in some ways it's less personal, but we are confident that the kids are still being served really well.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Allie, for asking that question, because I'm sure other people have that question as well. Any others?
Ashley, I think Romaine has raised her hand.
Wonderful. Will you unmute, Romaine, so you can ask your question?
Okay. So with the kids going to virtual school, at least for the beginning, do we know, or do we have an idea of how that's going to work as far as like being able to get in touch with teachers? Because from what I understand, the teacher that they may have in virtual academy may not be their actual teacher, and it may not be someone from their actual school.
I'm going to start by being just brutally honest with you and telling you that I myself have 3 kids who are going to be in school, doing school remotely this year, and I know next to nothing about what they are going to do. I've spoken with many teachers who also know next to nothing about what they are going to be doing. What I am absolutely confident in is that we do talk to the kids' teachers. We often are able to be in contact with them by email and to go back and forth with them. But some of our primary contacts at the school are the family resource coordinators and the guidance counselors. And they will still be serving the children. So that is usually our first point of contact anyway. We usually reach out to the guidance counselor and the family resource coordinator first if they're familiar with the child and with the family, and they're able to provide us a lot of information, not only about the child's attendance and grades, but also about how the whole child is experiencing school, whether they're having to come to the family resource coordinator to get extra services, whether they're having issues with teachers or peers. And then the guidance counselor will put us in touch with the appropriate person at the school who might be able to share more about any academic concerns. So while I can't really effectively answer your question because I just don't know, and I'm not sure the school does either, I do feel really confident though that if we continue to do what we've been doing, which is reaching out to the guidance counselors and the family resource coordinators, that we'll still be able to get that really valuable information.
Okay.
Another fantastic question. Thank you. Anybody else? No pressure. After 2 really good ones, no pressure. All right. And I think we are getting, is it close to 7? Are we right at the halfway mark? 7:10. It is 7:10. So we still have quite a bit of information to cover tonight, but we do want to give you guys the opportunity to turn your camera off, to mute your microphone, and to just take a stretch break, to run to the restroom, to grab a few bites of dinner, and then join us back in 5 minutes. We'll see you in just a little bit. If we're not back yet and you're not obligated to jump in, you still have about like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. But we did have that question in the chat box if you saw it, and I wanted to share that with you. If for some reason you did not get the email with information about kind of what to do next, what websites we're using, how to get to those things, we will definitely be resending that, and also going through how to really log into Canvas, a little bit about Optima later on tonight. I say later on, we've only got about 45 minutes left at this point. But also I want you guys all to know, if you haven't already utilized it. Thanks, Allie. I think a lot of people maybe are finding that the email was in their junk folder, but you can access everything that you need to for training by going to our website. It's casaov.org. And then if you click on advocate, Shy, help me, advocate guidance, the tab at the bottom, there's 2 lines.
Yeah, advocate guidance resources. It'll be the very last tab on the right-hand side of the
Advocate
website.
guidance resources. Click on that and you'll see 2 tabs, one with Canvas, one with the Optima training link, and you can just click on those instead of having to go through your browser. Now I'm going to mute myself so you guys have like that extra 30 seconds of peace that you still deserve. Now the break's over and you're obligated to listen to my little spiel about this. So if you go to casaov.org and then click where it says volunteer advocate guidance, you can access Canvas, our learning platform for your pre-work, through this tab. Just click on it. You will not be able to get into the course yet because in just a few minutes I will be sending you the link to the actual course and we will kind of go through that together. I didn't want you guys out there rogue trying to figure it out and not be able to do it on your own, but you'll be able to access it here at any time once we save your password for that. And then also our Optima training site, which is again the username and password that is on the front of your binder. If you have any issues with logging into either of those once we have them set up, please feel free to email us. We want to make this as easy and user friendly as we can for you guys. Also, I just want to let you guys know that we were a little bit nervous about virtual training, but I didn't know what I should actually be nervous about is that you guys were going to be watching me type on the screen a lot. So I really love like the whiteboard feature and that I can screen share, but you guys all saw me misspell CASA and I think maybe accept earlier, and I'm a little embarrassed about that. So with that, I want you to know that we're trekking through. We hope you guys are really enjoying the experience, and I want to invite Alondra to come back up here. Once she gets up here, I'll reshare our other screen so we can move on with the rest of our training.
Thank you, Ashley. All right, the next portion of our training, we will be watching a short video. It's the CASA volunteer role, and you'll get to see how making a lifelong difference as having a CASA. Ashley, if you'll play that. Can everybody hear that? No? Okay. Just bear with us. I'm so sorry. Like we said, it is our first virtual training, so hiccups are bound to happen for sure. I think it may be the speaker.
Bear with me.
Like we said, we're so sorry. Just a few
Romaine,
minutes.
Romaine, play extra close attention because this is how you change your speaker. Okay, you change the speaker and microphone this way. I don't know that it's going to work for me. I don't know it'll work for you either, but hopefully it will.
Stop sharing.
I can't see your screen.
Oh man.
Wonderful. Thank you, Clara. I'm so glad you can hear now. Yay!
Small victories.
Yes. Well, while we're waiting for Ashley, what does everybody think? It's not painful, is it? Okay, so since we're having technical difficulties, we're going to go ahead and move on to the key components of a CASA volunteer. And that will be Ashley's portion. I'm going to invite her back over here.
So we'll try to keep you up to date as we are working through our technical difficulties. Alondra is either going to work her tech magic and have it play through the PowerPoint, or we're going to just ditch that effort and we're just going to play it straight through YouTube. But while she's pulling that up, we are going to share just a little bit about the key components of the volunteer role. And those are information gathering, facilitation, advocacy, and monitoring. These are the pillars that the work a CASA does is built on. The first, again, is information gathering. And a CASA does this by being in contact with any collaterals that the child is involved with. It might be, as Romaine was discussing earlier, a teacher. It could be foster parents. It could be a therapist. It could be their neighbor, their grandmother, their basketball coach, whoever it is that is a significant role in the child's life. We want to be in contact with them and gather information so that when the judge is making decisions about the child and what's going to be happening in the child's life, they have a really nice picture of who the whole child is. And they're not just making a decision about who that child is to the court or who that child is to someone else, but they have a really full picture of that child. The next piece is facilitation. And the CASA has a really unique role in that we work with many of the people that are involved in a case in many different capacities. And we have the opportunity to pull those people together to make sure that the child is connected with all of the resources that they need and they're able to get as much out of their experience in a positive way as they can. And the next piece is advocacy. I know that's shocking as we are court-appointed special advocates, but a big part of what we do is advocate. And we do that in many different arenas. What we typically think of when we think of a CASA is in the courtroom or in case management or pretrial conference, and we do get the opportunity to advocate for children there. We advocate through our court report and reporting this information that we've gathered about the child, as well as what we think should happen with the child, what we think is in the child's best interest. But because we have such a unique opportunity to get to know the child in so many different ways, we can also help advocate for them in school or with a therapist or to get a medical need they have met. So we, because we know them so well, are able to advocate for them in many different ways. And finally, another key component with CASA is monitoring. And you will often hear that the CASA is another set of eyes and ears for the judge. We will talk in just a little bit about how burdened the system is by the number of cases that social workers have and that attorneys are carrying, and the overwhelming amount of information that they are burdened with. CASAs typically have one case, they can have two, but it's usually 1-to-1. And we are, because it's just 1-to-1, able to really focus and monitor what is going on in that case and then report that back to the judge. Those are our key components. I'm glad I got to share those with you ahead of our video, because immediately after the video, we're gonna go back into breakout rooms. And I believe Alondra is ready to share. We're gonna try it again. It is being so uncooperative tonight. Clara, can your son bring his gaming headphones over here so he can so he can help us? Can you hear it now? I have some yeses and some nos.
The highlight of my life. She was my friend. I don't really have anybody.
We have another something.
Yay. All no's. Thumbs down. A really aggressive thumbs down from a couple of you guys. Susan. We can hear it. So we're making progress. We couldn't hear it earlier either. Now we can hear it at two different areas, two different levels.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, it's both. Okay. We're ready.
I think she's ready. She's confident now. She's taking us back to the beginning. I mean, she was really confident. She even enlarged it and everything. Let's use that reaction, that thumbs up button. Can you see it? Hear it?
Sitting on the front steps.
Yay!
My mother come out to the so my mother's inside the house doing what she does. Right? I'm getting high, we're waiting for her on the steps. And all of a sudden, this woman comes out of the house and just stabs me in the back 4 times. And after that, I don't remember anything. I just blacked out. I'm 8 years old. My mother still used to drugs, everything. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she decides, I don't want to be on it. Because now it's like, now what do we do? 30 minutes later, I'm in the system. I'm institutionalized. That was real tough for me.
My name is Kyle, and I'm 26. And I like being a veterinarian because I love working with animals. Getting their shots, they're okay, they're not sick, and getting them back to their owners. I'm 35, and I have 2 kids. We like to go skiing and race each other down the hill, and we're happy, and then we'll do it again.
Hi, my name is Pamela Butler, and I am 6 years old. We've been traveling in the car for quite some time now, and it's cold. And tonight we'll be sleeping in the back of the U-Haul, and we don't have any blankets. And I don't know when we'll eat. Now I'm 7 years old. My mom just woke me up. She's yelling and running around, grabbing all of our stuff and grabbing my sister and myself. All my mom kept saying was, the cops are coming, the cops are coming. We ran outside and she told me to hide under one of the cars. I crawled underneath one of the cars in the parking lot, and I heard the cops coming and the sirens and yelling, and they're grabbing my mom. And
arresting her and my stepfather. And it got my sister, and everyone's yelling. It got my sister rolling, yelling now. And we got a police car, and I watched. Yeah. My mom faded away. Being a police officer is kind of a good job to the world because you can save lives. I'm 25 years old, my name is Scott Rose, and I'm a police officer. My name is Jonathan Will. I am 38 years old, and I like to preach. I like talking people out of violence or bullying, and that's why I like being a preacher. The happiest moment in my life is right now.
I'm glad I met my CASA because I don't have to live that life. I don't. A lot of people live that life because they have to, but I don't have to because I have an option. I have a CASA now. Because it was someone that took interest in me that I didn't have before, because when you're in these foster homes, you get lost. So I didn't feel alone. I felt like there was somebody there. There was someone there that wasn't there before. And to me, my CASA was an all-star, you can say. He enlightened us. He turned the light on.
Home is where you come from. Where you come from is where you don't want to leave. It feels kind of wonderful because I got my guardian and my next to my side and my family next to my side. It feels kind of wonderful. It makes me feel like I have people who care for me. And now I'm back home. I'm just right. I'm happy. To me, my CASA means a trusted friend, an advocate, a voice. Because when you're young, no one listens to you. Especially in the foster system. So for that, she's been like the light at the end of the tunnel. But she's the highlight of my life. She was my friend. I didn't really have anybody. My nickname is Laffy Taffy because when I hear something funny, I laugh a lot. What I like about my new family is I have lots of brothers and sisters to play with, spending time with them. So it makes me feel really good to have brothers and sisters who can look out for me. So I could tell my new mom one thing. I'd probably tell her that I love her and she's a great mom. To give a child a CASA is to give them a voice, and to give them a voice is to give them hope, and to give them the hope is to give them the world. And I believe that from my heart. I don't know what I'd do without my CASA. I don't want to imagine.
All right. All right, can everybody hear me? Okay, we got a lot of response in the chat saying that the video was lagging a little bit and it might have been blurry. So Ashley replied, and we will be posting that into the Canvas. So you are more than welcome to go in there and view it yourself as well. That way you don't miss anything. So next we are going to be going over the volunteer roles into our break room. So we will go into the break room again, and this will be a really short activity. We want to be respectful to one of our ground rules, which is ending on time. So we will take 2 minutes, 3 minutes just to quickly go over it, and then we will give you that 1 minute warning where it will kick you back into the main screen. So you can find activity 1C on page 8 of your binder, and then just like before, you will have a staff member in your group to help facilitate you. All right, we'll see you back here shortly.
All right, guys, thank you for participating in the breakout rooms. We, like Alondra said, want to be so respectful of your time, and we realize that we have several things in the binder that we touched on but maybe didn't draw attention to, and that we're not going to be able to cover tonight. So if you guys were using your binder for the activity, you're on page 8. If you look on page 9, you're going to see the key components, those 4 pillars that I talked to you just briefly about before we went into the video, and then some of the volunteer tasks, which we touched on as well. I'm not going to go any deeper into those tonight, largely because we're running out of time and because I know that those are things we're going to talk about as we go through this process together. So as we continue through the binder, the next thing is the Optima training site. And I just want to remind you guys that you can access that through our site, casaov.org, and then that Shy may have to type it in again. The advocate guidance, advocate resource guidance, volunteer advocate guidance. That's what it is. Volunteer advocate guidance. I got it, Shy. So click on that, and then you can click on the Optima training site, and then use the login credentials on the front of your binder. After that, the next thing you're going to find in your binder starting on pages 14 and 15 are the developing competencies. Now look at those and you're going to think, wow, they're going to take 20 minutes or the last 20 minutes to go through all of these, and we're not. I had already not planned on doing that because we knew it would be a longer activity. So you will find that in your pre-work in Canvas. You'll click on it and it's going to look something like a survey. We will keep track of that, and we will use it to compare with one we're going to do in week 5. We are not testing you, we are testing ourselves. We want to know that the information that we are providing you guys is something that's really useful and something that you're taking information from, that you're learning from, and that you can share with your CASA kids as you go through this process. Now, I know a lot of you guys have backgrounds that will lend themselves to this developing competency. So if you already score really well, if you already have all this, awesome. It means that it will make our conversations more full, and I won't feel as much pressure to teach you through these. If you don't know any of the things, that's great too. It means that we will have the opportunity to learn together. It's not a test. It's really just to show you what you know now, what you need to focus on as we go through this process together, and to let us know how we're doing with training. So after that, if you flip over, I'm flipping, I'm sure you can hear me flipping, to page 23, I want to draw your attention to the advocate do nots regarding cases and the advocate do's regarding cases. Again, I'm not going to read these out loud to you, in part because I don't like reading out loud to adults, but also because I think that you guys will have an opportunity to really dig into them. If you have any questions about them, please feel free to ask us either in the chat, in the discussion group that we have in Canvas, or at the Monday meeting office hours that we're going to have with you guys. We want you to feel like you can reach out and talk to us, and like we can answer as many of your questions as we're able to. So with that being said, I want to congratulate Romaine, because Romaine asked a question out of nowhere in the middle of training tonight. And I love it when people ask questions and take a little bit of the pressure off of me to just come up with something to say. So Romaine will be receiving a little reward in the mail in the next couple of days. So keep that in mind. I hope you're excited about it. I think you will be. But we appreciate that. So feel free to ask questions. Again, raise your hand, jump in the chat box, but let us know where you stand on all things CASA. I'm going to ask Alondra if she can click through a couple of the slides until you get to a graph. I want to touch just a little bit on the child's journey through family court, and those start with a series of graphs. For you guys, that's page 24. I want you, as Alondra's finding it for me, I want you guys to pay attention to that. I'm not going to go really in deep to these statistics, but I want to draw attention to it because I want you to be aware that the numbers don't necessarily reflect what we see in Davis County, and they definitely don't reflect what is happening now in 2020. So these statistics only go up to 2019. They are our specific state statistics. They came from the Department for Community-Based Services, but they don't reflect the significant need that we have in our community right now. They don't reflect the high number of cases. They don't reflect the turnover that the cabinet has been seeing during this incredibly difficult time. And they certainly don't reflect that most social workers are not able to go into homes right now. Only in certain investigations are social workers able to do that. We want you to know that everyone in the state of Kentucky is a mandated reporter. That means whether you are a social worker, a teacher, if you bag groceries at Kroger, if you are a stay-at-home mom who sees a child being abused in the parking lot of the baseball field. Everyone in the state of Kentucky is a mandated reporter. And because everyone is a mandated reporter, we get a lot of reports that are sent in to DCBS. And that is what starts a child's journey in the child welfare system and with family court. On page 25 of your binder, you're going to find a little bit of information about that. We included those because we use some terminology that you're probably not familiar with if you're not familiar with the court system. If you are, that's wonderful. But if anyone can file a petition, a third party, as they call it, can file a petition, or a social worker can, after they have gotten a report about a child. Alondra's jumping over there for me. Thank you. Anyone can start that family court process by filing a petition. Most often it is a social worker. When we say file a petition, we mean they go up to the courthouse or they type it out and they give it to the judge and tell the judge that they have a concern. If the judge believes that there is a concern and the child cannot be safe in the home, they will order that the child be removed from the home, and a temporary removal hearing will happen shortly after that. After that piece is the adjudication hearing, which is similar to the trial portion of a criminal case. After that is the disposition, which is the equivalent of like the sentencing portion of a criminal case. And then after that, we go into reviews, an annual permanency review, more reviews. And this is where CASAs are beneficial through the whole process, but especially as we get into that disposition review, annual permanency review process, it is essential that CASAs be engaged and they keep the real issues at the forefront of what's going on. I wanted to touch on that just briefly, even though we're short on time, because these are things that you're going to hear at the courthouse and you're going to hear from us that are just thrown around a lot. APR, TRH, dispo, words that are not part of your vocabulary if you're not part of the family court system. They certainly weren't part of mine before I got into social work. So if you're not familiar with them, definitely look at this document that we have prepared in-house. It's pretty specific to what we do locally, although it can translate well across the state. But we do want you to become familiar with some of those. Gotta take a deep breath. I was talking really fast. Sorry. The next thing that you'll find in your binder is Mary Ellen's story. And Alondra and I were talking about this earlier today as we were deciding what we thought would and would not fit into a shortened version of the training. And I wanted to bring your attention to it because I'm not going to read through it tonight, but I will tell you that it is powerful enough that both of us had chills and were tearing up just talking about it. Even though we've heard this, I've taught on it 6 times. So we're really familiar with the story, but it's so powerful to hear that just, a few short years ago, it seems, there were not systems set in place to protect children. So I encourage you to read that and hear about how families got first involved with social services and how those things came into play and how laws were first created to be able to protect children. And with that, I will draw your attention to the second tab in your binder. So you're in chapter 1. If you'll skip back to the key laws, you'll find that there are a little series of laws that will tell you about things that are put into place to protect children, but most significantly, you will find the KRS that allows CASA to operate in the state of Kentucky. If you have any questions about what you are allowed or not allowed, or what a CASA can or can't do legally, you can refer back to those for some guidance. Of course, please ask us questions, but those can be really helpful. When we think about the role that a CASA plays within the court system, we can look back to those key laws. And with that, I'm going to skip ahead to Canvas. There are several more pages in your binder about who plays a role in the court system. Again, that's something that we're going to talk about as we go through. We're going to talk about that when we're doing the court report. But I want you guys to feel really confident with Canvas before we separate from each other tonight. So if you guys would minimize us like we showed you in the beginning, just make us a little tiny in the corner of your screen and check your email. While we were actually watching the video, I sent you guys you should receive an email from, it says Canvas free for teachers, have a little demo here. And that is your invitation to the course. Raise your hand or jump into the chat box if you're not finding it. All right, I said that, but now I'm gonna have to leave the screen and invite Alondra to come back and talk you guys through this process so I can send it, okay? So if Alondra, you'll come and go through just the next part, which is clicking on that email and then signing up.
Absolutely. Okay. For those of you guys that did find it, just please go ahead and click that blue button that says Get Started. Okay. Is everybody finding that? Okay. We are. Okay. So once you click that button, it will bring you to the Canvas portal site. So the arrow on the screen, or if you've minimized it, you probably won't be able to see it, but there is on the right-hand corner, there is a little place where it says click here, it's free. You can click there, or you need to create a new Canvas account. If you've never logged into Canvas, you would need to register into Canvas. So once you click that, it will prompt you to put your email address, and please use the one that we have for you, or that we have from you, that you've been using, the one you've been receiving emails from. And then you'll be able to create a password on there as well. Okay, I'll give everybody just a minute to see if you can do that. Okay, and once you register for that, register for Canvas, you will only have to do that once. And make sure to save your password. Okay. Can you minimize this chat for me, please?
Oh, certainly.
Okay, once you have created and registered for an account in Canvas, it will ask you to accept the course. So just go ahead and accept it, and it will automatically bring you into the Canvas class that we will be using. Please let me know if you guys are having an issue finding this. As well as Ashley has mentioned, we will be doing in-office hours on Monday. So this will give you guys enough time to come in on Monday. We can certainly walk you through this and be able to log you into it. And that way you have until Thursday to complete your pre-work assignments, okay? So please do not panic if you cannot find it. All right, after you've accepted the course, it will give you an option to take a tour of Canvas. You are more than welcome to do that, or you can do that later, and then you can click done. All right, I'm going to invite Ashley to walk us through where to find our assignments. Is everybody ready for that part? Yes? Thumbs up? Thumbs up. All right, thank you.
Thanks for using some of the thumbs up features. And thank you, Alondra, for doing that while I panic sent a couple of people that missed theirs. I will, again, like Alondra said, invite you to get started on the course. You can first find announcements on the panel on the left side of the screen. So if you can click on announcements, you'll see that there's just a little brief intro. You can click on the welcome. It's going to provide you some of the same information that you've already had access to tonight. One, the link to Zoom, and then also our cell phone numbers and just some preliminary information that you might need and encouragement as we get started. The next thing you will see is the assignments. If you click on the assignments tab, this is where you're going to find the information that you need to create or to complete your pre-work for next week. So I don't want anyone to panic. That's why I talked to you guys when you came in for your orientation about how you were going to see it and it was going to be this long list and you were going to think, yeah, I didn't sign up for a lot of homework. I don't want to do this anymore. Please don't panic. Hang with us. As you click through these, you'll see that most of them are really short assignments. The first one is going to be just a short survey and evaluation of tonight's training. Please be gentle but honest because we want to make this better for you and we want it to be really engaging each week and something that you enjoy and not just something that you have to get through. So please be honest with us about those. And then as you click down through each assignment, it will allow you to get more information about each thing that we're asking you to do. If you have any questions about those, you can either let us know in Canvas, you can join that discussion, you can email us, you can text or call us, any of the ways that you've been communicating with us up until now. The next thing we are going to do is, well, this is just an example. Once you click on the assignment itself, it will show you what to do. If there's a blue link, chances are you need to click on it. That's how you're going to find the evaluation. That's how you're going to find the developing competencies that we talked about earlier. And then we're also going to ask you to take a DISC assessment and a learning assessment. So you'll click on those. Again, do not feel intimidated by any of these things. Don't feel like that it's a test or that we're quizzing you. We just want to be able to provide a training that's really effective for each of you. When you're going through them, you will see a submit button on the bottom of nearly every screen. That's how we're going to know that you completed the assignment. Again here, that you can submit the assignment, and then you get all these butterflies and confetti to let you know that you were successful and it was wonderful. That's how you'll know it is submitted. If you have any questions about it, you can pop on down to grades, but next we'll talk about the discussion. Again, you just click on removed. Removed is going to be a video that you're going to watch for pre-work, and then you guys can just briefly chat about the video and any thoughts you might have about it. I will tell you that the removed video, if you haven't already seen it, can be a little intense. So if you recall that we provided you the blue portfolio in your notebook with the, I'm getting one handed to me here, the blue portfolio with the feelings thermometer, we would encourage you to get that out as you watch Removed, just so that you can check in with yourself, go through the feelings thermometer, make sure that you feel safe, and also so you can take any notes about questions that you have or comments that you would like to discuss with the rest of the group, either in the discussion or when we get back together next week. And here just goes through a little bit that you would need to hit reply and then type through that and submit or post reply for that to appear in the discussion group. And then if you're curious, if you're one of those people like me that needs the validation of seeing that they actually submitted something, you can check your grades. Again, you're not getting like a letter grade on any of this. We just need to be able to confirm that you completed it. If you get nosy like I do and want to know everyone's name or what their email address is, you can click on people. You can also communicate with the other participants in your group. When I created this, it was just me in the training, but I've since invited all of you guys, so you'll find your name in the training as well. If you have questions or you want to refer back to the PowerPoint at any time, you can click on files and then click on these. I will warn you that they're rather large documents, so when you click on them, you will probably be spending just a couple of minutes waiting on them to load, but they're coming. Next is the syllabus. It's just a reminder of what we went through tonight, and if you have any questions, it can maybe jog your memory. Quizzes tend to make people panic. Don't panic at all. Again, it's not really a test. It's just something for us to gather information about, and then we'll use that for discussion next week. And really, that is Canvas in a nutshell. I know that we went through Zoom and Canvas really, really quickly. So if you've not used it before and you have any questions, please, please let us know. You can we are going to be wrapping up now. You will find definitely, I think it's the second assignment is office hour signups. And we will be available on all day Monday, and we'll encourage you to sign up quickly so you can get the time that is most convenient for you. We will be completing those through Zoom, but we would encourage you to sign up for those and meet with us for just a few minutes to make sure that you're feeling really comfortable and that you're able to complete all of the assignments, that all of our technology is working out for you, and you're able to go through it as you can. And I think that probably has us right at 8 or maybe past. I have 3 minutes, or I'm past 3 minutes. I have 3 minutes. Oh gosh, I'm 3 minutes past, so we're done. Out, you can click out now. You guys can jump out whenever you're ready, but also know that just because we are ending or trying to end as close to 8 o'clock as we can doesn't mean that we're not available. So we are going to stay here, but allow you guys to go ahead and say your goodbyes and jump off, but we'll stick around, and you can feel free to unmute yourself. Again, just have some light conversation or ask us any questions that you have after tonight's training. As you're leaving, we will say thank you so much for your time tonight. We know it was a stormy night. You probably would have rather been snuggled up watching some like junk TV on Netflix, but hopefully you enjoyed hanging out with us for a little bit, and we appreciate your time and your engagement tonight. So thank you and have a great night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Shai wants to talk to us. She unmuted.
Yeah, I was actually going to say thank you all so much, both Alondra, Ashley, Rosemary in the background. You all did such a fantastic job tonight. I really appreciate like all that we're learning so far, and I look forward to learning more within the next few weeks for sure.
Yeah, we can hear. Does anybody have any questions?
Susan says no. Nobody looks like they have any burning questions. Just want to hang out.
Okay, I have some questions.
Yay! I love questions.
Okay. Well, so it's actually probably my fault. I'm sorry. I'm trying to sleep train a 1-year-old, and my husband's helping, and he's being amazing, but I didn't catch everything. So, whenever we were talking about Canvas and you talked about we had to accept the course, I never saw like a button to actually accept it. Like, do you physically have to click something? Because as you went through like the files and the documents, like I could see all that. I just didn't see an
If you can see it, then you already accepted it. You wouldn't be able to see it if you hadn't accepted it. It should have appeared at the top of your screen, but if you're a brand new user, it might not have.
Okay. And then, so we will meet every Monday, one-on-one, a Zoom, just to go over any questions or concerns that we had about the previous Thursday's training.
The previous Thursday's training or any of the pre-work. If you've had, you don't have to turn it in by Monday, but if you have looked at it or you have questions or you feel like it's not working for you for some reason, feel free to discuss that with us as well. We just want to be available to you at the midweek point so that we can follow up and have any conversations that we need to have before training.
This time slot, like, is it going to be pretty self-explanatory how to sign up for that and how to submit the pre-work?
Yes, I hope so. Anyway, so when you're in Canvas, I think Alondra is going to pull it up and share the screen with you really quick and with anybody else who has questions about it. In Canvas, if you click on the assignment itself, it's going to have a description of what we are asking you to do and then how to complete it. So with the first thing is an evaluation, and it will say, please complete this evaluation. The evaluation will be highlighted in blue because it's a link. You click on that, answer through the questions, and then hit submit. After that, we'll ask you to just type done in the body of the assignment so that we can count you as graded in Canvas. And that's what's going to show it to our agency. So here's an example of the office hour sign up. This is in Google Sheets. So it's a constantly transforming document, but you can jump in, say your baby gets up early, he's going to be going back down for a nap at 9 o'clock. then you can just hop on that 9 o'clock slot. We plan on it being about 10 to 15 minutes, have up to 30. If you need more than that, we'll be sure to set that in. Alondra showed you, you just click on that link from Canvas. It will show you this document. You type right in it. As soon as you type in it, I can see it.
Okay.
I'm trying to type into that right now, actually, and it won't let me. I'm on the Office documents. It won't let me type in the box.
Okay.
I can pull up the sheet. I don't know if you can see my phone, but I can pull up the sheet, but I can't type in the box.
I think you have to sign in to your Google. You have to click the sign in button, but my email associated with CASA isn't a Google email.
Okay.
It's an iCloud email.
Yeah, mine's not either.
Okay, so that might be an issue. It says we need to be allowed, we have a chat that says we need to be allowed to edit with your permission. So I think I shared the document with each of you guys, but I will make sure that I did that. Once we share the link with you individually with your email, you'll definitely be able to type in it. So Alondra, I think is gonna click on that. We have an anonymous dingo is participating in our document right now. So if you will copy the link. Yeah. She's going to add that link in the chat.
I also had a question about signing into the Optima.
Yeah.
Is what part of on the front of the binder is our username and which part is the password?
The username
because mine's like heather.higdon. Okay.
Heather.higdon.training is your username. Under that, it should say be the one exclamation, and that is your password.
Okay.
It's the same for everybody. I didn't just spill the beans on your password. So.
Okay. Let me see if I can do this office hours again. It opens up the document, but it won't let me click in any boxes to type anything.
It won't let me either, and I used the link.
Okay. Let me and Alondra trade places really quick. And if you have anybody has another question, that would be great. So it can alleviate some pressure off of me while I try to resolve this.
Yes. Once again, thank you so much for being so patient and for asking questions, because I'm sure we're going to have some more of those and other people have the same issue.
Okay.
A question for me really would be the due dates of the assignments, just to clarify. We can review on Monday on our one-on-ones. However, our assignments will be due prior to the Thursday of each week of the training.
Sarah, Heather, will you go ahead and try now? Same link. Just try to make a change.
Shy, yes, that is correct. Our assignments are to be completed the Thursday of training. So you'll have essentially a week to complete those assignments.
It worked! Yay! I see it.
Mine says view only, and then I must be logged into a Google account to request edit access. Did you guys have to sign into a Google account, or am I missing something?
Did you just try it again, Allie?
I did, but let me go back and try again.
Yeah, refresh your page. Hopefully, I think I made it public.
Let's see. You did.
Yay!
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for letting us know this.
We really do appreciate it. We're not just saying that. It really prevents a lot of problems later on. Sorry, you can only see half my face. It prevents a lot of problems later on if we can resolve it now. Go ahead, Heather.
Mine still won't let me type into it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can see everybody else's name on it now.
I had to completely close my whole internet browser and then reopen it.
Oh, okay. Let me do that. Okay.
Sarah, while we're here, Sarah, did you get your envelope in your mailbox today?
I'm sorry, you cut out. Did I what?
Did you get the envelope of the documents we forgot to give you last time? Did you get it today?
No.
Let me say, I put that in your mailbox this evening.
Well, I haven't checked my mail today since it's been raining, so
Okay.
I'm sure it's there. I'll check it in the morning.
Okay, if one of your neighbors, a little blonde boy, is like, "Hey, there were some creepy people putting stuff in your mailbox," it was me. He looked like he was really concerned.
He probably was. We have good neighbors.
I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Allie.
See ya.
Bye. Heather, how is it working now?
It just now, okay, it says edit with Sheets app. Do I need to say get the app or no thanks?
I would say that's
I'm not
up
sure.
to you. I don't personally like to just add apps for fun. I would try it without it, and then if it doesn't work, try it with.
It just won't let me. I'll mess around with it a little bit more and see. Maybe I have to download that app to do it, but it's not really doing anything. I can see everybody else adding their names to it, so maybe I just need to add
you have
that
a
app.
time preference, and I'll go ahead and add your name since you're having so much difficulty, and we can continue to work through the process.
Okay, Monday the 24th at 3.
Okay, perfect.
And then I'll try to mess with it too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you all for your time.
All right, thank you guys. Any other questions?
Yes. So, are the only things on the assignments that we're supposed to complete this week the chapter